The views of 4 voters in Ohio, and joining me now from Lisbon is Germano Almeida. He's a Portuguese journalist and writer specializing in American politics. Why don't we start there? How do you stitch this country, the United States, back together after this election when you see not just 2 candidates divided, but you just heard 4 voters very much divided and very angry?
Thanks, Mike, for having me on. Well, I think that's a portrait of what American politics is, because other elections were also very divided, and this race is also close. The environment of political American politics is very ugly, very divisiveness, and both candidates that are not so popular, they are both unpopular, could get this worse. I think, Mike, that this election will probably be won by Hillary Clinton, but I still see a path to Donald Trump if the Republican nominee carries Florida, Ohio, and also Pennsylvania and Michigan, which could be Democrats, but in last days seemed up for grabs.
So what are your thoughts as we enter this final day of campaigning on just that thought? Can he stitch together enough electoral votes to win, and do you think Clinton can hold on?
Well, I think Hillary is favorite. I think she's very near of 270. I think she just could lose if he loses 2 or 3 states of her firewall, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. But when we see President Obama and the candidate Hillary Clinton in last days in Michigan, Democrats seem to have a problem there. Mr. Trump has very narrow maths. He must win Florida, North Carolina. In North Carolina, the black voters are not so good to Democrats that they were to Barack Obama. But in another way, in Florida, Latinos are getting very good with Hillary Clinton, and in Nevada also. I think Hillary could seal the deal in Florida and in Nevada.
Germano, I was at a discussion here in D.C. today which gave an international take on this election, and I guess the takeaway is that no matter who wins this election, democracy to some outside the United States looks not very orderly, very messy. It's been an ugly campaign. How is it being viewed where you are?
Well, Mike, I think that the Trump's nomination was, a smoking gun. It was a very, very worrying sign to American politics. Here in Portugal, in the first place, it was a shock for us that Donald Trump was the Republican nominee. It's still some worrying that he could, in the last day, could win the election. It's not probable, but it's very worrying. In other way, Hillary Clinton, she's a very competent politician, but she's not charismatic, she's not inspiring, and she's in a way in the establishment. And this year, 2016, is the year of punishing establishment.
The Economist and the Hill publications both reporting that when the dust settles, it will be about $5 billion spent on this election, more than double the cost of the 2012 election. How big a problem is this? Is money corrupting the whole process? Is it turning off voters? What's the takeaway, and can something be done about it?
You know, Mike, this topic of money and the influence of money in politics, in a way, it's an issue that Donald Trump was smart to explore. It's a problem, that's true, and it's true that Hillary Clinton in that way also represents establishments. I think it's very important to get some accountability here, but I think also that democracy has some costs. It's a shame that this campaign was not about issues. Hillary Clinton is also guilty about that, because when in the debates she focused in issues, she showed that she's of course much better than Donald Trump. Last days of campaign were very bad. Trump saying that the system is corrupt, Hillary saying that if Trump wins it will be chaos and Trump will be not qualified. Mike, I miss 2008 when Barack Obama was elected first time and John McCain gave a very gracious concession.
Germano Almeida joining us from Lisbon. Thanks so much.